you want to do some general business and come back, Mr. Chair?
You gonna find the town?
Up to the fire chief.
I think we should. We have the whole fire department here waiting.
Hey, Bill, we're gonna pause, okay? And then we'll pick you guys back up after Jimmy figures it out.
So the next item that we're gonna jump to under general business is the fire chief's resignation and screening committee. So we do have a letter that was sent by us from James Young, our fire chief. I'm going to read it to you. It's dated January 7th, 2026. Orange Board of Selectmen, 6 Prospect Street, Orange, Mass. Dear Honorable Board of Selectmen, please accept this letter as my formal notice of resignation as Fire Chief and Emergency Management Director for the Town of Orange, effective February 13th, 2026. This decision comes after thoughtful reflection on both my professional and personal goals moving forward. I am tremendously grateful for the opportunity to have served in these roles within the community I was born and raised in. Working alongside our dedicated firefighter, town officials, partner agencies, and residents has been an honor, and I am deeply proud of the progress our department has made together. In order to support a smooth transition, I am willing to remain on board as interim fire chief to maintain the administrative functions of the department while the town conducts its search for the next fire chief. I believe this continuity, yes, will best serve both the department and the community during this period of change. Thanks again for the trust and support that you have been extended to me throughout my tenure. I remain committed to ensure a responsible and professional transition, and I am available to assist in any way that may be helpful. Respectfully, James R. Young, Jr., Fire Chief, Emergency Management Director, Town of Orange, Massachusetts. So first, I think like all of us, we were very sad to hear that the chief will be leaving us, and we thank him for his many years of hard work, dedication, and we have an item on the agenda to discuss appointing an interim fire chief. James Young has offered to do that, so I would like to have a discussion regarding that and your thoughts.
Backing up one, do we need to accept the resignation?
You have as a formality. And Chief Young is in the lobby too, so it
Yes.
may be prudent to invite him up to the microphone now.
Yes.
Okay, sure. So we're sorry to see you go.
There's a big part of me that's sorry to go too, but I know the time has come. I do appreciate all the sentiments and things like that. As I mentioned, very proud of the progress of this department and care very deeply about its success moving forward. So happy to be part of this discussion and see if we can figure out the best way to move forward so that we don't lose any of that progress that we made. That's my main concern.
Okay.
Chief Young, I think it's a measure of what you mean to all of us that you have so many of your people here today to support you and acknowledge the incredible job you've done for us in building the best fire department and EMS staff.
We've all been a
that we
big
can
part of
vote
that,
for.
and a lot of times when a fire chief looks good, it's because of the people behind him. It's not necessarily the fire chief. So they've done a lot of hard work. They care deeply about this department, this town as well, and they all have a vested interest in making sure that we continue to move forward in a positive direction. So I do appreciate them being here, and we've already had some meetings and some discussions, and we would like some guidance also from the board, what your desires are moving forward so that we can sort of tailor our discussions towards the desires of the board. Without knowing that right now, it's a little difficult to really figure out a clear path forward. So hopefully we can have that discussion tonight.
Yes.
I also want to thank you for your fierce advocacy that you have displayed in the past 2 years that I've been at this table, but in the 20 years that I've lived here, in the way that you advocate for your folks and your place and the grant writing that you've done and the hard work that you've put in. And I hope that all of that knowledge will remain here and be passed on, but also your next community is lucky to have you. But thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I will move that we accept the chief's resignation with much love and regret. Thank you.
I second that and every part of it.
Yes, I as well. So the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, chief.
Thank you. So our discussion, as you have offered kindly, and thank you, is to remain as an interim chief.
So I really don't even know how this works. I've been in one spot my entire career and never really ran into this. I was an interim chief once, but obviously it's because the chief left and I was in that spot and working, 40 hours a week. My main concern is business goes on, right? The business of the department is not, we can't push a pause button on it, so things have to continue. Some of the things I'm concerned about is just the paperwork and the grants, et cetera, et cetera. For example, today, the state dropped a grant on us. Here you go, quick turnaround, must be done. Those types of things are going to happen. The federal government has withheld a lot of grants as they review whether the current administration wants to move forward with these grants. And I'm just afraid they're going to push a button one day and say, oh, they're out there, get them done real quick, or you're going to lose out on those opportunities. Those are the types of things where I just don't have enough time to coach somebody else to get that done for this year. It would be great for them to work with me and see those things, but I don't think we can meet deadlines in time if I'm just trying to pass that off to somebody else right now. So those are some of my concerns. Something as simple as payroll. Nobody else has experience doing that right now, so it'll take some time to get somebody on board, processing bills, doing the higher level inspections, commercial occupancies or multifamily buildings. All of those things were done by the fire chief, and there just hasn't been the administrative help and the experience at the next level, which is the captains at this point. So those are my concerns. And my availability, to be clearly honest, is only going to be nights when I get back in town. And I have a 3-hour commute round trip to start right now, an hour and a half each way. So I'll be able to do some things at night and on the weekends, and that will be my availability. And we'll be relying on the shift captains to run the day-to-day operations. And I know they're willing to step up and do more. And as I mentioned, we already sort of have an internal thing worked out where captains will help the other captains on shift and sort of rotate and assist while they're off duty to be able to make this work. But we need some guidance and direction from the board as well.
Is there any chance that any of that has been drafted in any form?
Officially, no, nothing
Okay.
drafted, no.
I think we're coming to you with the same level of questions because you all know what it takes to keep yourselves moving.
Yep.
So we're looking to you, I think, or at least I know I am. I'm looking from an operational standpoint of like, what does this
Yep.
take? What does it look like? Because as we're sitting here, I'm asking about grants, I'm asking about payroll, and I'm also asking about capacity and willingness. And I want to make sure that the folks that are here are also not that you're incapable, but that you have the space and the time and the ability to do these things in addition to doing the exemplary work that they're already doing. So what does that look like?
It's going to be challenging no matter how you look at it. My biggest concern, somebody has to have the power and authority to be the chief, if you will, to put signatures on things. Statutorily, somebody has to be that, whether it's me or somebody else. And time is running out, so that's why we kind of have our backs up against the wall a little bit. We can draft some policies or something, put something in writing so that it is clearly spelled out what we're going to do, but when I saw appointment of an interim chief on the agenda, I thought that's what we were doing tonight, so that's why we're here. That's why everybody's concerned here is trying to figure out what direction we're going. So I think both sides of this are a little bit confused right now and don't have a lot of information. So we do need to move forward and make some decisions.
Mr. Chair, I think that the best move for the town at this time is because Chief Young has offered to serve as an interim chief. From an operations standpoint and administratively, I think we should take the chief up on his offer while we start focusing on the other very important process, which is screening for the next fire chief. And I think that if Chief Young thinks he can put any time into the town of Orange, we should let him do that, because he has the experience and the knowledge that, while he can definitely write that down and help to onboard the next chief, in the interim situation, we're going to need that support administratively. This town hall is already low on staff, so we don't even have support staff to stretch out to the fire department. So I think that we should take him up on the offer.
Was that actually your offer to be the interim chief?
It was, yes, because, again, statutorily, somebody's got to be the fire chief. So that is my offer, is to be the interim chief. I do the best I can. Obviously, I can't let it interfere with this opportunity and my new full-time job where I'm going. I can't let it interfere with that, but I will do the best I can. And I will communicate with you if it gets to that point. But I do feel confident I'll be able to dedicate the time that I need to keep the administrative functions of the job going, especially the payroll, processing the accounts receivable, accounts payable, and the grant writing for now, as we sort of bridge that gap while you search for your next fire chief.
Okay. Well, I'd like to move that we appoint Chief Young as our interim fire chief until such time as we are able to hire a full-time chief.
I will second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah. I'm really concerned about nights and weekends being the only time to be available. It's concerning to me. So I think it is the thing that needs to happen, because capacity-wise, this is where we're at. But I really would love to have a much clearer understanding and plan sooner than later, so that everybody here who feels supported and understands what this is going to look like.
I do think a very important thing that should happen is weekly, maybe bi-weekly meetings, depending on the amount of information that we need to exchange back and forth between town administration and fire department leadership to sort of work through this. We may want to touch base on it in a couple of weeks as I keep things, or a couple of weeks after I transition to my new employment, sort of see how things are going, whether we're able to keep up with those administrative functions of the job, and as you move through the process, sort of figure out where we're at. And it's not out of the question to discuss appointing somebody else if there's interest as the interim chief moving forward. That's not out of the question. All of us just want to see this succeed, and we don't want to see us hit a real bumpy road in this meantime here, or this transitional period.
One more thing.
Sure.
I agree completely, and I don't want my questions to, in any way, shape, or form, be misconstrued that I'm not supportive of you or the folks who are sitting in this room. I'm purely coming from an operational standpoint, and I want to know logistically that this is going to work, because you all keep us safe, and I want you to be safe while you're doing that. Who is your board liaison?
Me.
Tom.
Okay, so then there'll be just a regular cadence of meetings that you can, okay, does that?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
I would like to suggest that we ask Matt to work out details with Chief Young, compensation for one thing. We can't ask you to do that for free, I don't think. So the structure of your agreement with us as interim, but also some clarity about the assignments that you will give to these folks, so that we know who to contact, what the captain's various responsibilities might be, and what the contact information is. And also that you are mentoring or working with somebody to take on the paperwork for grants and payroll and all the other work, because even though you'll be doing it in the interim, I think it's really important that you offload it as fast as you can, because
Agreed.
we don't want to kill you with commuting.
So we're already at that point where I'm working
Good.
with the captains,
I'm
and
not
we're having
surprised.
regular meetings. I wish it happened a long time ago, but the lack of administrative help is sort of rearing its ugly head,
Yeah.
sort of, where we don't
Yeah.
have somebody that can just step up and do that right now. And it's no offense to the captains, they have the day-to-day operations that they're
Understood.
constantly busy with. When you try to sit down and do something with somebody and the bells ring and they get up and go on a call, and it just happens all the time, so that's kind of where we're at. But we're putting a more focus on that right now with the captains, sitting down, trying to clearly lay out roles and responsibilities moving forward. And I have the utmost faith in the captains as far as operations. They're great at that. They will be able to respond to the calls, do all of that. The administrative functions that they have not been exposed to is not their fault. That's my fault, and the lack of administrative help in the past. That's why we're in this spot now. But we will continue to work at it, and I'm confident we'll come up with a plan that will keep things rolling as smoothly as possible.
Okay. Okay.
We have to vote.
Yes. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, the next question is to appoint a screening committee, correct?
Right, so we should vote to approve the job description for posting, which is the same job description that Chief Young has already presented to us at a recent meeting. And there's really a couple ways to go about this. Chief and I have discussed this offline. We could hire a professional recruiting firm. There is a cost associated with that, but that might broaden your search and attract different types of candidates that you might not find with the local search committee. I will say, however, there's some internal interest in the job, and that it may be also wise to do a local screening committee and see where we land with that before we look into hiring a vendor to do a broader search. Chief has thoughts on this as well. I see advantages and disadvantages to both. And ultimately, the fire chief that we hire is going to be somebody that we want to work with the town for years and not for a year. So we want to be very careful as to who we appoint for the next permanent fire chief. We were very lucky with Chief Young. He had a long tenure. I would hope that the next fire chief has a long tenure as well and is a good fit for the job.
Okay, so let's,
Up with a number.
I like both of those strategies,
Right.
but
Right.
let's talk about a screening committee first.
Yep.
Yes.
What's your thought about who we should have on a screening committee?
Well, that's an interesting point. You would want somebody with some type of experience in the fire service or EMS. You'd want a subject matter expert on the screening committee. Chief Young comes to mind, but he, of course, also may not want to serve in that capacity because he knows a lot of people on the force, and if there's internal candidates, he might not want to serve in that capacity. We could search or recruit another fire chief from another town. I know a few retired fire chiefs that may be willing to serve, and we certainly don't have to establish the entire committee tonight. We can work on that over the next couple weeks and come up with a list of finalists for that screening committee. But beyond that, myself, a member of the select board, and another internal department head could potentially tap the chief of police or the new building commissioner. So those are the types of folks that we'd want to put on the screening committee.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I assume we can post the job before we have the screening committee finalized.
Yeah, that's fine. We can have HR post the job and start taking in the applications, and then at the next meeting, we can come up with a final list for the screening committee. It's not something that I think we should hit fire or point tonight. I just think it's something that we should all think about
Yep.
over the next couple weeks. And if members of the public have recommendations for folks that should sit on the screening committee, again, this is a critical position. We don't want to just grab 5 random people to be on the screening committee. We want some people that are of a high caliber nature themselves that either understand government administration or the fire department itself.
Okay.
So do you want to come back at our next meeting and make the final recommendations, and because we don't want to wait too long? Is that fair?
Yeah, I
Makes
think,
sense.
I think we need to move on this.
Yeah, we do.
Chief Young is being very generous with us. I'd like to acknowledge that and
Yes.
get you off the hook as fast as we can.
So at a minimum tonight, I would say a motion to approve the job
Yeah,
description and have it posted. And then at the next meeting, establish the screening committee. And it sounds like the hiring a firm is off the table for now. We want to do a local screening
I
committee.
think that's step 2.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then if down the road, we find that the screening committee isn't producing qualified candidates to go to the Board of Selectmen for appointment and interviews, then we can also have the screening committee report back to us on whether or not they recommend outsourcing the job.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to move that we post the job description that we already approved, which Chief kindly provided. Thank you.
I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. There's no salary associated with that. What should we do there?
We can post it at the current budgeted salary range,
Okay.
and I can do a 20% tail.
Okay.
Does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
Aye.
you. It's
Did
been a
we vote
pleasure.
that? Aye.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We're good.
Thanks.
Yep.
And then do you need us to establish the screening committee tonight to be staffed
The
later?
the next meeting, we'll do that.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Beautiful.
Great.
Wonderful.
Okay. Chief, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
very much. Okay.
Guess I'm gonna go back to the,
Do they have sound?